Hi, this is Chris Garcia with MyTabletLife.com, and this is our second look at the Archos 101 Internet tablet. Two reasons for this second look. First of all, is we've had the device for a little over a week now, so I can kind of give you my updated impressions on the device and things that I've done and checked out to kind of give you what I thought on those. Secondly, we have the update to Android 2.2 that Archos has released. On November 30th, they released Froyo, Android 2.2, for all of their Generation 8 Internet tablets, including the Archos 101 here. So I can give you what that has done for the device. You can download this either from Archos.com or you can update on the device itself. We'll talk more about that later. This Android 2.2 update from Archos brings a few things. Some of them are directly related with it being Android 2.2. A few have to do with things Archos has added to the update themselves. First off is our Android 2.2 brings higher performance for applications. They should run faster because of the just-in-time, that's JIT compiler. So in essence, you know, your games, the internet browsing should run faster because of this. Also, secondly, they've brought enhanced Microsoft Exchange support for your contacts and your calendars, so that's good for some people. Also, with this update, more apps are able to be installed, more third-party apps, because they've added the apps to SD feature. However, with the Archos tablets, because of the internal storage, that's actually where it writes the games or the applications to. It does not write them to the SD card. So this depends on the device you have. This is the 8GB version, so that will give you some more space. Out of the box, there's roughly 256 megabytes, a little more megabytes for applications to be installed at. So you can move some of them to the internal storage of the device with this new feature, only if the applications support it though. So any applications you download that support the apps to SD feature in Froyo will write to the internal storage of the Archos. They've added some support for external Bluetooth GPS receivers, so that's really nice to use with Google Maps. They've also added better assistance with Bluetooth tethering to your cell phone, and I can testify to that one. I was not able to Bluetooth tether my Droid 1, my Motorola Droid 1, with the original Android 2.1 on here, the original update that Archos had released, but I am able to do it now with the Android 2.2, so that's been nice. They've also added, obviously, Android 2.2 brings Flash compatibility. Archos has stated that they are waiting for their own certification to release their plugin for Flash, but you can download Flash yourself currently. We'll talk about that in a bit also, a little more in depth. And lastly, they have fixed some compatibility issues with the inverted accelerometer axis that was happening on some games and apps. Labyrinth, Raging Thunder 2 was not working properly. Now with this update, they are working. So other tablets, maybe like the ViewSonic G tablet that has the same issue, it's a good thing to know that there are some fixes out there because they did fix it on the Archos 101. Few of the things that have happened now, Archos has come back because some people have been unhappy with Froyo update for the device. The biggest problem some people are talking about is that the quadrant benchmarking score has not really improved on this device with Android 2.2. For those that have had 2.1 devices that have upgraded, Android 2.1 devices usually see a few 100-point difference after the update from 2.1 to 2.2. However, there's been almost no change in your quadrant benchmark score. In fact, some people are even getting lower scores. So people have had that issue. Also, there's been some issue with the processor being capped at 800 megahertz instead of the 1 gigahertz that it should be. Archos has kind of released a statement on a few of these things that people are having issues with the Froyo update, the things that they cover in their statement. First is the underclocking to 800 megahertz. It does scale, so it will move up and down to help with battery life and performance, but they have capped it at the 800 megahertz instead of allowing people to have 1 gigahertz. They say that they're doing this for battery life. I find that the battery life on this device is great as it is. I get almost 2 full days of pretty active usage. I'd rather have the 1 gigahertz and even have 1 day of usage to get the full processing power that this device is able to do. So hopefully they will fix that and realize that most customers do want the 1 gigahertz as promised, since I don't really think it seems to affect battery life at that much. People have been able to temporarily root this device and set the CPU at 1 gigahertz, and the device does run better, and they aren't taking much of a hit on battery life. So I hope Archos does fix that once they realize what we want. They've also kind of talked about the quadrant scoring, the benchmarking. They say that it's a bug with Quadrant that's reacting with the Archos line of products, that they've fixed this internally and are now scoring around 1300. Right now I get about 800 and 900, so that would be an improvement. Some people have questioned that because the processor in this, they're saying, should not even score a 1300, so they're questioning Archos on that. So we'll see if they're able to fix that with the next update. Some people have had Wi-Fi issues, which they've addressed. First, the device currently cannot connect to channels above 11, so they ask that you just lower the channel to fix that. And also there's some problems working with certain encryptions, WPA2/AES. They recommend just using a different encryption. Now obviously if you're in public or at someone else's house, you don't really have a choice for both of those. So hopefully they'll get those addressed on their own. You can't just change them if you're at Starbucks, and obviously you want to use the Wi-Fi on the device there. The third matter they've addressed is the Flash player plugin. You can currently download this on your own, but they are waiting for certification from Adobe to have their own Flash plugin, which will use hardware acceleration. Some people have addressed that they've not had a great experience with Flash on the device. I think it's pretty adequate currently. Obviously it can be a little more smoother. Just going to show you a look at it running on our website here. So if Archos gets a certification, which hopefully will be relatively soon, they are promising a much better Flash experience because it will be hardware accelerated, which is always nice to have, especially since it'll help with the games, it'll help with anything that uses the Flash if it's hardware accelerated. And with Adobe Air being on the also available now for Android, more and more games will be utilizing that, and so we'll want a better Flash experience. So hopefully that comes out soon. Just take a quick look. I'm going to show you Android Flash running. I'm going to go to one of my Flash videos here on the device. This obviously is the web browser. It has been updated also with, they don't really talk about that, but the Android 2.2 browser does have some nice updates. It should run faster. Obviously there's still pinch to zoom and all that, but it should handle JavaScript much faster, so it should be a faster web experience between the 2.1 that was on the device before. It takes a little bit the Wi-Fi here to load up on here just to show you, but this is mytabletlife.com obviously. So pretty good, like I said, web browsing on this 10.1-inch device is very nice. So there you got up. It does bring up the YouTube directly that's embedded in the web page, and it will play directly from the web page. So that's Flash working there. Now it's going to take a little bit to load also, but it is Flash running directly in the browser on the device. And there we go. You can hear it. Let's turn it up a little so you can even hear that it is playing. And this is our original review of the Archos 101. A little dark there, but so obviously it's nice to have Flash running directly in the browser. Hopefully they do get their own version out soon so that we will have an accelerated version. I know I said that like 3 times now, but hopefully they're listening and Adobe gets this certified, so having a really nice working version. Now there is another version of Flash out there that's made specific to this processor that some people have installed. You can find that over at XDA Developers, and they say they've had better experience using Flash on the device, downloading that version of the Flash player. So that's also out there for you. Also, just in general with the Android 2.2 update, over at archosfans.com, they are recommending that you do a full wipe, a full format before installing. A lot of people have had some issues, so this just seems to give an overall better experience by having starting from a fresh and not just updating from 2.1. So I do recommend that possibly. Just a few things now that we've had the device for a little over a week quickly. HDMI out is working properly now, and it's a nice little feature to have. I did try it. You can use the whole Android 2.1 the whole Android experience on your HD TV and also watch videos. Now the whole pad turns into almost like a large touchpad. It goes black, and you kind of have to maneuver around that way. It was kind of difficult, so I do recommend having the keyboard and or mouse attached. You're going to get a better experience connected up your HD TV. I also did try out video conferencing for those who wonder. Fring is installed, or it comes as an application, so you can use that for video conferencing. Since the camera isn't the greatest, obviously it's not the greatest quality, but it does work pretty well. I've been really happy with the size of the device. I said before, it's very thin and light, so it's easily portable to take around. That's one of the great things about this device. For the price of $299 for the Archos 101 8GB, I think you're really getting a good deal compared to the iPad or the Samsung Galaxy Tab. This doesn't have 3G function, but you can Bluetooth tether it, so that's nice. So for the price, you don't get the build quality maybe as the iPad or the Galaxy Tab, but you get a pretty good working device with the Archos 101. My biggest issue, really, the speakers sound great, but my biggest issue is the screen is not flat. There's ridges here. Dust and stuff does accumulate in there. That's kind of my biggest issue with the device overall. So hopefully Archos will address what they said they're going to address with the next update, fixing some of these problems with Froyo. Otherwise, I think it's a really great experience for the price. This has been Chris Garcia with MyTabletLife.com and our second look at the Archos 101 Internet Tablet.